Good morning, good afternoon and good evening, and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to start talking about a few things this week, and I'm also going to cover the latest update from the MCU and give you my thoughts. But first, before we get into that, let's start off with the comics. So I was able to catch up with Event Leviathan, issue 1. It's a 6-issue mini-series. Not too sure what's going on really at the moment. A little bit confused. I'm not too sure if it's for me, but essentially some heroes, some villains, a lot of people have been kidnapped by someone who's posing as Leviathan. And it seems what they want is a completely new world. I mean, they say that this world is broken and that we're going to start a new one. And it's down to Batman, Lois Lane, and Green Arrow to figure out who it is and what's going on, and they say that if they don't figure it out by the morning, then all hell will break loose and there's just going to be chaos everywhere. It seems okay. The artwork's quite nice. I wouldn't say it's Brian Michael Bendis at his best, but it seems okay. I might give the next issue a go and see how that is, but I'm not convinced at the moment. It's not something that I'd say go out, rush out and buy and pay for. And for me, I think it can be sort of summed up with the second to last page. And tomorrow, with your help, we won't have to imagine a better world. And if you can see, there is a ... after that. Now, to me, if you're going to have then a double-page spread after, which is Batman saying Event Leviathan, if with the ... it seems like you're going to say something extra, like all hell or something along those lines. And so I felt like there was something just to cap that off, and it just felt like a bit of a letdown. And I think that sums up this issue really. It has promise, but I'm not too sure where they're going to go with it. But like I said, I'll give the second issue a go, and we'll see where that goes. So I haven't yet fully read all of book 3 of The Boys, but I have read I'm sure it would be the 3rd arc, Good for the Soul. And Good for the Soul sees a character returning from the 1st arc, and Huey has to deal with that as again a bit of character development. At the moment, it just seems like each story arc is just getting more and more interesting, and it seems more and more interesting. It doesn't need as much action because you're really invested in the characters. You just want them to progress through the story. I mean, relationships are formed, the characters that are being fleshed out even more. And I've essentially, while reading it, I'm completely forgetting about the top tier heroes, the villains that they're after. It's similar to like The Walking Dead, where after a while of reading The Walking Dead, you don't care about the zombies. You want to see the progression of Rick and his team, and I think this has done that very well. I'm not caring as much about the superheroes because it's so well written. The characters are just being fleshed out so well that I can be gripped by just a guy sitting down watching TV. It's really showing how Garth Ennis is an incredible writer. The artwork is fantastic as usual. It's when there is action, it's incredibly bloody, incredibly graphic, and it's fun, and that's what Ennis does very well with his writing. So Robertson has done a fantastic job to equal that. But again, more on that as I continue on with that. Only another 6 volumes left. I wanted to try and get through them all before the series comes out, but I'm not too sure that's going to happen. Right, I did make a few notes because I couldn't remember all of the releases, but with Marvel Phase 4, we have Black Widow is going to be the first one released. I'm relatively excited about that. It's going to delve into Romanoff's past, and I think that could be quite interesting. I don't know why this wasn't done earlier. It could have been done in phase 2 or even phase 3. I don't know why they've waited so long for this, but yeah, I'm interested, and I'd like to see it. Eternals. I've only read a couple of stories of the Eternals, and I wasn't a huge fan. The cast, from what they've got so far, seems fantastic. Obviously, you've got Angelina Jolie headlining it, but you expect good casting from Marvel anyway. So that we'll see. We'll see what production looks like, and what way they go. Next, you've got Shang-Chi. I'll be interested in this. Gonna be honest, haven't read any of the Shang-Chi comics, so this would be a new one. But in the way that Marvel have got a lot of genre films, this could be their martial arts genre, and I've always been a fan of martial arts anyway. I do like the Bruce Lee films, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Next, I'd say is probably the most interesting of their releases. It's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So going full in depth, I'm hoping with the multiverse, something that they teased a little bit with the trailers for Spider-Man Far From Home, but then pulled the rug under our feet and told that they were only kidding, essentially. This has the potential, I'd say, to then bring in the X-Men, Fantastic Four, because I don't think you can bring in those kind of stable characters in a new way. They need to already be established within at least a universe. Reed especially is such a history with the whole Marvel universe, and I think it'd be a shame to just bring him in as a new character, just starting to get his powers. So that is, I think that's probably the biggest hook, the biggest one that's got me. And last, we have Thor, Love and Thunder. I'm not looking forward to this, going to be completely honest. This is the introduction of Jane Foster's Thor, which I was never a big fan of. And again, see what they do with Chris Hemsworth Thor. I mean, I've got a lot of issues with Jane Foster Thor. The biggest one is the fact that, why is she called Thor? Thor is his name. I don't know why she's called Thor. But we'll see where they go with that. I'm just hoping they give a good story arc, good ending to Thor Odin's son, and see where we can go from there. So the films, I'm not as excited by the films as I was with Phase 2 or Phase 3, but I think the promise within those is going to be Doctor Strange. They've also released that they're going to be doing Blade, but that's not going to be till Phase 5. But yeah, for me, it's Doctor Strange is going to be the big one. But where I see the most potential and the most promise is going to be with Disney Plus, where they've released Loki, Hawkeye, WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier. They've released the graphics. They've as in the title pages, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited for those. I think this is where the industry has been going towards anyway. Long form storytelling. If you get a big budget, high production values, those kind of actors, you can get them in for a 7, 8, 9 part series, and it could rival things like the Game of Thrones. It's what they did anyway. But I think the biggest hook for me from the Disney Plus is Marvel What If. The What If line has been fantastic. It's had some really, really good stories. One of my favourites has been what if the Cuckoo Sisters got the Phoenix powers? And that was a really interesting story, because obviously you had 3 of them, all 3 with Phoenix powers. And obviously, as you know, just one person with Jean Grey with Phoenix powers was difficult. So having 3 was just a really great read. I have got somewhere What If Peter Parker Became the Punisher. I haven't got around to reading it yet. But I'm really excited about the What If series. I think that has got the most promise out of the entire of Phase 4, and that's what's got my attention. Definitely the Disney Plus, because to me it shows that they are really going full steam ahead of building the universe around, it seems like, everything multimedia now. Who knows, they might go into games next. It's essentially a completely new world. It's not just going to be films now, it's going to be TV series. So I think that's a really, really interesting way to go through things, and like I said, I thought it was going there for a while anyway. But that's a brief breakdown of my thoughts of the MCU Phase 4. If you guys had any issues, had any comments, let me know what you think down below. What are your thoughts on Phase 4? And if you haven't already, please like, share and subscribe, and you'll be notified and kept up to date of when my next videos are. And until next time.